there's a temptation, and I have this temptation all the time, where I see a really good movie, and I'm like, maybe I should make the mom movie. But when I made The Civil Dead, I wanted to actively make something about my life. It's me and my wife, and it stars my wife, and it stars my friends. I think the temptations for a lot of first-time filmmakers to make a movie with a gun. It's like, when's the last time you saw a fucking gun in real life? I think what it really is I'm dumb as a dog, and I can't just think past my experiences of being a fucking artist who can't afford rent. A lot more than I thought. CKY. I think that's my wife's CKY though. I don't know if I still have it, but Super Champion Fun Zone. Do you remember that? Yeah, I think I really like tour documentaries. I think like that and Tent City were like my favorite videos. My buddy Andrew Jeffrey Wright did the animation for Jump Off a Building, and he gave me one of the frames that are in there. So I have that. And then that's my dad's weed card. So. I got really into filming skating really early. I actually got more into filming than I did skating. We hit a point of our skating where we kept on getting injured so much that we still wanted to film, and I think that's how I got into getting interested in filmmaking at all. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design for a little bit, but I hated going to school, and Wade came out here to do acting and stuff, and I was really jealous. After a semester, I dropped out of Savannah and moved out to LA. We worked at the same place delivering pizzas. Did that for 7 or 8 years. Most of my 20s, I was getting more frustrated too. I really want to make a feature, and I'm not doing that right now. That makes like your first feature like feel really good if you have like all those years of being frustrated. Like, eventually you just don't give a shit. And you're like, I'm just gonna make something, and if it's fucking bad, then I'll learn from that. And if it's not bad, then it's great.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1, pull. Oh. Yeah. Really good. Yeah.
It's weird because it's like filmmaking's like one of those things where you're like always watching. I bet you do this too. Like, you're looking at other filmmakers and you're like, what age were they when they made their first feature? And Harmony Korine was like a director that I really liked, but was always frustrated by because he started out so young, and it made you feel like, well, I feel like I just will never make a film at this point. It took us so long to figure out what we wanted to do. We always knew that we wanted to make films, but it felt impossible back then. Even though at the time, mumblecore movies were really popular, and I did have a camera, and I was like, man, I could make a mumblecore film, and I'm so happy that I never made that movie. And I'm so stoked on that. For some reason, I've never really been driven to make like a really absurd, like wacky, like airplane style comedy. Just because I love being a pretentious asshole that wants to make a French film. I remember there's a point when I first moved to LA and I took a stab at like making something that's not comedy, and I hated the feeling of doing that. Not going for a laugh made me feel really insecure. Once I felt the first sense of cringe, I had to go, you know what, I'm not working on this anymore, so I had to fucking give up on this. Up to that point, I was just making a lot of like videos for like Funny or Die. We were just making comedy stuff then. But at that point I was like, no, I want to make a real fucking movie. which is the Buddhist, which is absolutely a comedy sketch too. I don't know why I separate that as one's film and another one is comedy. A guy who I randomly knew, we went to film school together and he does like skate stuff too. He called me and he was like, hey, I want to get into making movies and producing them. If you have an idea, I'll give you this small amount of money to make a feature. And I was like, yeah, I have this idea. And I pitched him that idea and I told Whit about it. And he was like, yeah, I'm down. And so we spent a month writing the idea and actually getting the screenplay. And 2 months after we finished writing it, we just started shooting. It was a really cool way to make a movie because you're writing it knowing that it will be filmed. Hi, bud.
Hey, Clay.
Hey, thanks for letting me in on this game, dude.
Yeah, I didn't really know you played.
Yeah, I play.
What the fuck did you do to your hair, dude?
I think I'm trying something new, and I think I fucked up. Every idea, there's the meat of it, and then there's a lot of fat to it. The fat we like, but it doesn't really add anything. Great back seat. Is this James? The Civil Dead was an idea where the ending instantly came. Because it's like, oh, we would have this dilemma, and it would be interesting if the ending was like this. And so I think me having the ending also gave me the confidence of, oh, this is something that me and Wayne can easily figure out within a month.
Listen, if it'll make you feel any better, I'll put the safety on.
The Simpsons was a big inspiration. Because in The Simpsons, the first part of the episode has nothing to do with the rest of the episode. And the movie wasn't about a specific plot, it was about a character living in a world where that plot happened. So I tried to actively make the first act of my movie have nothing to do with the rest of the plot. I just want to inform who the character is, what his problem is, and then that problem can reflect all of his other decisions that he makes later on. It's just a simple trick to make it feel like the movie's not about the plot, it's about the world. And I don't know how successful The Civil Dead does that, but it was an experiment for me to try as hard as I can to not get into the actual plot until the first act was completely finished. And have the first act just be not a setup for the situation, but a setup to the character and who he is and what his problems are. I'm more interested in the way people talk than I am in story. I think it's a surprisingly overlooked thing that a lot of first-time filmmakers don't really, they care more about what they wrote than the way it's performed.
Hey, Clay. I know that we had an agreement I'm not supposed to talk to you, so you don't gotta react to me. Especially because Whitney's probably in there. But ghost time is like way different than human time. I think it's closer to dog time.
Most of what we shot was in one master, so we allowed the ability for us to talk over each other.
Dude, I can't open a door. You think I can click-clack away on the keyboard?
Throughout the whole movie of The Civil Dead, I just used like those little cheap tricks of like talking over each other and stuff like that to make it feel more real.
Dude, what the fuck out of my shot?
Everything me and Whit make, what we really care about is performances.